sir, it's Kareed back. The nigga you need. Yeah, I'm back. Actually, I didn't even mean to take this long. You know, when you're trying to focus on your mental health and shit. It might take a bit. You know, the idea, the story, and just how I got started, how I thought of it, right? And all that shit. So we can just go to my heroes. So number one, my first new hero, not new, well, new to y'all. My first new hero, which I said is gonna be my females now, and my last god, my first new hero is Yolanda. Now Yolanda is from Namib, N-A-M-I-B, Africa. So she's in Africa. She's my hero from Africa. And she lives close to the desert. But she has one older brother and she lives with her father and mother. But her mother is very ill and she has some form of cancer. And so they're pretty poor themselves. But the thing about Yolanda is that she's fast. And like even at a young age, she was beating like grown women in races and shit like that. So she's very fast. And she's an Olympic runner. She's young. She's already an Olympic runner. So she's fast as fuck. She's beating grown men and she's beating grown women at her age already. But she didn't know that, of course, which none of my heroes know, that she is gonna get super speed. So at 10 years old, she got her power for super speed. So that's her power, super speed. And the thing about it is that I want to be different than Marvel and DC again. Well, most just comic books altogether, because most of the time the speedsters are males. So I want to make my speedster a female. So Yolanda is my female. She's black. She's a black girl. She's dark skinned black girl. Pretty long hair, pretty long black hair. She's decent average female height. She's very talkative, so she likes talking a lot. She's very social, and so she's just very fast. And at the age of 10, when she made her debut as the fastest runner in the Olympic Games when she was 10 years old. When she was racing people, they put her up there. They put her up there because she was faster than everybody in her team for her country. She faster than everybody in her team, so they put her against some of the fastest people in the world. And that's when she all the fucking everybody was. Her family was there, and everybody was with her, and they all cheering her on. She felt the confidence, she felt a burst of speed, and that's when she showcased her speed. Yeah, so that's my first girl, Yolanda. My number two person is Maria. Now Maria is from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and her power is that she has super strength. And the thing about her is that she of course had a treacherous life, but her father was a fucking drunk. He's a drunk, and he constantly beats on her mother and her all the time. Her mother left her, so her mother left her and her father and didn't care to bring her daughter with her. She just left in the middle of the night and left her daughter to be kept on being beaten by the drunk. And the father was even more angry that his wife has left, so now he's beating up Maria more. He's getting beat up. The father, he's in and out of jobs and shit, and he gets drunk just to ease his pain, ease this this shitty life he's living. So he beats up on his daughter, but the daughter one day the thing about the daughter, when she gets beat up, she gets angry, and she gets real angry, and she's crying, but she gets real angry, but she doesn't have her strength yet. She only has like sparks of her strength. I said before they turn 10. They only have sparks of their powers until they turn 10, when they can actually showcase their powers. So she showcased her power when one day her father came back angry, and started beating up on her. But she just got so mad, and and then one time when he tried to hit her, he caught his fucking hand, took him and punched the shit out of her, and she punched him to a wall, and he got caved into the wall. And he got caved into the wall, and that's when she first showcased her strength. He was caved into the wall, he was hurt, badly injured, and he went to the hospital. Now the dad is scared of his own daughter, and that actually fucks with Maria's mental again. Now she doesn't have a mother. And now her father's scared of her, so that fucks with Maria's mental. So that's kind of how Maria is. But as she grows, she learns to control her anger. So she's kind of like the Hulk, kind of, but not really, because she doesn't change. She only gets stronger, but she doesn't change her physical appearance when she's using her strength. She's just a regular human, just has incredible strength. And as she grows, she's able to do crazier feats as she grows older and shit like that, and uses her powers more. And she does, and that's really about Maria right there. My next hero, that's one, two. Oh yeah. So number three, my number three hero, my number three female hero is Sydney. Now Sydney is, I did this on purpose. Sydney's from Sydney, Australia. That's her parents. Her parents named her Sydney because they live in Sydney, Australia, and they always like the name Sydney. And she lives with her mom and dad, and yeah, she doesn't have no siblings. So Sydney, she is. I'm gonna explain the plot a little bit. So her parents argue a lot, and they argue a lot because I don't know, they always think about divorce and shit like that, but they never go through with it. But they're always thinking about it, so they argue a lot and they fight a lot. So one day when they were driving, when Sydney was like 8 or 9 years old. When she was 8. Yeah, when she was 8 years old. Her parents were driving, and then the mother found something on the father's phone about him cheating on with another woman. They were arguing shit like that, they're arguing, and he wasn't focusing on the road and shit like that. So he wasn't focused on the road when they were arguing and fighting and shit like that. And then they couldn't calm down. So the father did something. He did like a crazy jerk, with the wheel, and then he hit a fucking 18-wheeler. And when he hit the 18-wheeler, the father and the mother, and actually the whole family. So the father and mother, Sydney was in the car. She was in the backseat just listening, but like not really listening. She was in her own world. And so they plunged into a big ass lake. And when they plunged into a lake, they were drowning. They were dying. But the father and mother knew that they couldn't save themselves, but they could save Sydney. So the uncle Sydney, and Sydney was a good swimmer. So all her life, Sydney was a great ass swimmer, and she's like, water is like her second nature. Like she loves being in the water. She could hold her breath for the longest and shit like that. She loves being in the water, and so plugged into the river. They knew that Sydney could be saved, so they saved Sydney. But the father and mother were stuck and they couldn't get out. So Sydney said, but Sydney didn't want to leave. She didn't want to leave the car. She wanted to leave her parents. But they said, they're gonna be right behind her. Just go call for help. That's what she did. So she finally agreed and she left the car and she floated up. And she broke the window. They from the time I broke the window of her car and she floated up. She went to go call for help. But the father and mother knew what was going on. The father and mother, they knew their fates, what was gonna happen. They knew they couldn't survive it. But they finally reconciled and they're cool what was going on, and it's cool what was gonna happen to them because they knew they're gonna die. So the father and mother died, but Sydney was still she was still alive, and she called for help. That came, but it was too late. Of course, father and mother died. That moment in her life changed her life forever, because throughout her life she keeps recalling that moment where she could save him and do something more to save her family, but she couldn't. It's hard to make a short ass video when you explain people's lives and their powers about the script. So I'm gonna try to make the video not too long, like the last one. All right, let's go. So Sydney, her power is water manipulation, so she can manipulate water. And I kind of got the power from Avatar, Katara. If you ever watched Avatar: Last Airbender, Katara, and just like waterbenders in general. That's why I got her power idea from. But she's a regular girl. She has blonde hair, and she's a regular young girl, and she has the power for water manipulation. So she got that. So that was her power. She got that power at 10 years old, and she's able to manipulate water, any source of water. So any source of water she can manipulate, and she could fucking do wild things with them, wild things with it, and she could move around the water around the ocean and shit like that. She could kind of like Moses. She could part like parts of a lake and an ocean. She could just walk right through it and shit like that. And she's a great at swimming, but she can't. She's not like Aquaman, where she could actually live underwater, but she could hold her breath for a stupid long time, kind of like Percy Jackson. If you ever know who the fuck that is. But yeah, she can hold her breath for a stupendous long, way longer than an average human can hold her breath underwater. But as she grows, I also got this from Avatar too. More about her power. She learns that how much water humans got in their body, so she's able to blood bend and move around humans and shit like that. So some crazy shit started happening later on. But that's later on. And so I'm not going to talk about that anymore right now. So she could blood bend later on and move water and do all that shit. So that's Sydney. Number 4, my second last hero is Anastasia. Now Anastasia is from Russia, and she's from Moscow, Russia. Parents are scientists, extremely stupid smart. and work for the Russian government. So they kind of like so you know they're there with Vladimir Putin and shit like that, and all the people of the higher ups of the Russian government. And her power is that she can invisibility, but that's her power for right now. So that's her power for right now, but she can do more with it. So I want her power just to be invisibility, because I feel like that's lame. So I gave her 2 powers. So if you ever watch the show Danny Phantom, an older ass Nickelodeon show, she could actually go into a mode where she's not just invisible, but she actually turns into like a ghost. So she goes completely out of her body. She can have her out of her body, and she turns into like a phantom, and she like can move around. Move around and shit, and like possess other bodies and shit like that, and like when she's in the mode, she could fly because she's not a human no more. So she uses, so as she grows older, she uses more of her power to do that, and she can just go invisible. But when she's invisible, she can still be heard and like kind of sense, because like sometimes you can hear, like if somebody was, you can still hear them, but you also could like kind of sense them. But when she goes into her other mode, her phantom mode, ghost mode, she's completely out of there. Like you don't even know she's in the fucking room. She's like she can possess other bodies and shit like that. She's kind of like a ghost. She has 2 modes: invisibility and that other power she has. So that's her. That's Anastasia, and the world doesn't know about her power. So the world doesn't know about Anastasia's powers and my next hero's powers. Those are only 2 people the world doesn't know, because the Russian government, since her parents are scientists, of course they reported to the Russian government. You know how the Russian government likes to keep shit under secret, like they work in secrecy. So they're not gonna, showcase that they have a super being to themselves, and that they don't want to show it to the world and like let the world know, because they're gonna use they're trying to use her. They're trying to utilize her so she can like, I don't know, infiltrate other countries and like get intel and shit like that. So they want to use her as a spy or something like that. So that's Anastasia. Man, my last character is, he's one of my favorite characters, honestly, because I kind of like his character development. Is right now, the shit I'm writing right now, I like where he's headed. My last character is Jimmy. Now Jimmy, he's kind of like a typical anime character, because a lot of my kids, if you didn't know this, they're kind of inspired by anime, because I think of anime, I think of the tragic backstories that a lot of kids, the reason why anime is so good to me, and like, I don't know, some other people, that the tragic backstories these characters have on their way to greatness and on their way to going up. So that's kind of how my script is right now. So my characters have tragic backstories, but their lives would get better. It kind of depends on what route they choose, right? So Jimmy is my last character. He's from the UK. Now Jimmy was raised in a foster care. He didn't know his mother or father. They abandoned him, but he doesn't know who they are. So his foster family are extremely fucking evil. Kind of like, I don't know, like Matilda type shit. But they don't care about him at all. They're just there just because in the UK, you have a foster child, the government pays you money. So they don't have him for the money. They don't really feed him that much. They don't care about him. They don't give him any hugs and kisses. They just don't care about him. But his power is that he can read people's minds. So Jimmy, his mental health is on the decline even at a young age, because he doesn't know what the hell his power is. He just hears all these voices and he's going crazy all the time. And he has nobody to tell. Like, he tries to tell people about his power, even his foster people, but they don't care about him. Nobody cares about him. He doesn't think anybody in the world cares about him. So cause all he hears is these voices and shit like that, but they disappear because he's young until he turns 10 and he actually understands that these voices are the people's thoughts. So he starts reading everybody's thoughts. So he always a step ahead of everybody, right? And I also gave Jimmy something else. See, now the thing about Jimmy is that his character is, he's kind of like a lonely kid, right? So he's kind of broken, and he's constantly going insane and going crazy. So I gave him like kind of a defense mechanism, and his defense mechanism is his imaginary friend named Fred. Now at first, Fred to Jimmy was not a actually living being. He was just kind of like his imaginary friend that Jimmy kind of talked to, but he never talked back. But I felt like he always knew that Fred was there around him. But as time goes on and when his power starts to come forward, his imaginary friend Fred becomes a real being, not a human. He's like a beast. He walks on all fours, but it's like a beast, kind of like a lion, but he's invisible. But he could still be heard only to Jimmy. But he could move things around the house, so he's kind of like a ghost as well. And he could like, but he's that being that like kind of protects you, because Jimmy is he's a frail little kid, right? He's frail, he's skinny, he's shorter than the average kid. He's short, he's scrawny, but that his defense mechanism is Fred, his imaginary friend. So I won't say he has two powers, but I would say that he has a power and something else that he has with him. And this thing, he doesn't know why that he has his imaginary friend. He didn't even know why he has his power. None of my kids will know exactly why they have the powers right now. But they all, for some reason, were chosen to have these powers. The only 10 people in the whole world were chosen to have these powers, right? So, and his friend Fred is kind of like if Jimmy asks Fred to attack somebody, he will. But the person that doesn't know what's going on, he just feels like he's being attacked, getting ripped to shreds and shit like that. So Jimmy, he's a kid like, I won't say he's one of my villains right now and one of the bad people right now. He's just that he's on decline because he goes through a lot of crazy ass shit. But of course, this script is not like, they're not heroes. They don't dress like heroes. They don't have capes. They're regular humans. As I said again, they don't have capes. Different from Marvel and DC because there are only 10 super beings in the whole world, right? So it's different. It doesn't have it. They're not the X-Men. They're not none of that shit. They're just regular people that just somehow have superpowers. But they're 5 boys and 5 girls, right? And so for the script, so what I'm trying to do, I said I'm trying to bring it to a film festival. If I can if I bring it to a film festival and they do accept it and it actually becomes a show or some shit like that, I want to be able to direct it myself, or at least be like a overseer of the person directing it, like the cast and shit. I want to see it being made. I want to see the progress. I want to see how they do it, right? So I don't want to just give them my script and just let them do everything on themselves, by themselves, and bring in production shit like that. I want to be the person like that's overseeing everything. And really, I'm trying to make this like it's for like it could be it could be broadcast on TV. It could be like on any TV channel, but it could also be on like Netflix or like what's the shit, like Amazon or Hulu or some shit like that. It could be on anything, right? Or HBO. Actually, I really want it to be on HBO, kind of like Game of Thrones. So yeah, I really want it to be on HBO because I feel like I want like every episode to be like an hour, and like every character is like, I don't know, maybe like 10 to 12 episodes a season, but every character has at least an hour, about at least an hour episode of their lives and the shit that's going on. And like sometimes they, some episodes are not just gonna be focused on one character. They're gonna be like 1 or 2, 3 characters on that one episode or some shit like that. So that's what I'm really trying to make it into a show like that, a show like Game of Thrones. That's it for right now. Anything else? What's next? Oh yeah, skits coming, more skits coming, Japan trip coming next month. What else? No, music is coming after the Japan trip, but probably gonna be around October, November. So in the meantime, it's gonna be mostly just skits and anime shit, and regular talks. I'm gonna give you more story times and shit like that. The Japan vlog and shit like that. So that's coming, right? But yeah, that's it for right now. So that is Creed